If you've learned one thing from going to school, is that they don't teach you anything about how to take proper notes. So when you often see other students get straight A's without breaking a sweat, you start to wonder, what are they doing differently? So in this video, I'll be talking about the 4 note-taking secrets that the top 1% of students use to get straight A's. Number 1. Use notes as an extension for your thinking, not a replacement. Now, the biggest misunderstanding that students have about notes is that it's supposed to be an extension of your thinking, not a replacement. Here's what I mean. So imagine your brain carrying a load, not a physical one, obviously, but a mental one. This is what's called cognitive load. And as your teacher continues on with their lecture, feeding you new information, they're continually adding more weight onto your cognitive load. Your brain's job now is to start processing and retaining this information, but our brains can only hold so much information. So once we get overloaded with it, we start offloading it onto our notes, putting down any of the excess information that we might not be able to process and properly think about right away. But the thing that most people get wrong is the balance between the amount that we load onto our brain and the amount we offload onto that piece of paper. Our cognitive load has to be heavy enough to be challenging. Imagine you're a bodybuilder and you decide to choose the lightest weights, and it takes no effort for you to just pump out 20 reps. Even if you go to the gym every day and take the right supplements, your body won't grow because the weight that you're pushing is just not challenging enough. And the same goes for learning. We won't actually be learning anything if we aren't struggling. The struggle that you feel is the undeniable proof that you're growing and learning something that you aren't familiar with. It's normal to feel this way because why would you feel comfortable being exposed to new concepts that you've never heard of before? And the opposite is also true. If we're overloading our cognitive load, it'll be the same as trying to juggle 20 objects in the air at the same time. And inevitably, it will all come crashing down. In summary, don't immediately offload everything onto your notes and give your brain a chance to actually process the information. This way, you'll actually make going to class worth your time and not have to go over everything that they went over after class. I'm sure many of you guys are familiar with checking your notes over and over again the night before your exam and say, this should be pretty easy. But as you go to the exam the next day and look at the problems, you struggle to remember anything that you looked at yesterday. This is what's called the illusion of competence, which is the next secret. Don't rely on your notes for exams. The gist of it is, all that underlining, highlighting, and note-taking gives us the illusion that we're learning something, while our brain is just relaxing in the background like a couch potato. You feel like you're absorbing all the information and it comes pretty damn easy, but you're not actually retaining anything. Think about the game Stare. If you don't know what Stare is, it's where you're shown a picture for a short amount of time, and once that time is up, you're asked to recall what you've seen, what color shirt they were wearing, how many flowers were there, etc. Without the picture, you struggle to name even a few of the things that was on there. But when you have it sitting right in front of you, you think, well, that was pretty easy. And that's what rereading your notes is like. It gives you the illusion of learning. But when you close your notes and try to recall any of the concepts, it's much harder. But that's what true learning feels like. If you want access to my upcoming course that covers every single aspect of the college admissions process and surround yourself with ambitious students that are willing to put in the work, join my Discord in the link in the description. We hold what I call flow sessions weekly where we can get intense, focused work done and get ahead of the curve. So if you're interested, the link is in the description, and of course everything is free, so I'll see you there. When you specifically learn math-related subjects, the teacher always tells you to learn it conceptually. But how do you even do that exactly? Well, you do that by ignoring the numbers and paying specific attention to know the when and why you use certain equations. And this is where secret number 3 comes in. Words first, then apply with numbers. In the past, you probably tried memorizing all the equations, and as you take the exam, you try to jam in all the variables that you're given. You give it a quick look and say, well, that looks about right, and move on to the next question. But when the results come back, you realize you did it all wrong. This plug and chug method isn't effective and leaves you more confused than before. So the next time you write math notes, try to write the concepts in your own words, writing what the equations and laws mean, when to use it, and how to use it. Write all of those down in your own words. Now, the last secret might seem obvious, but many, if not all students, don't put in the extra time and effort to reap the multitude of benefits of secret number 4, which is writing your own questions. Here's what I mean. As you start creating your own questions, you'll be creating the exact learning objectives that you'll need for your upcoming exam. So after you write your questions, you'll know what to look for as you study to answer your own questions. Second, it allows you to take the perspective of an exam writer, aka your teacher. As you write your own questions, you can think of ways your teacher can twist or add new elements to your problem. And the more scenarios you prepare for, the better off you'll be, because imagine your teacher puts in like a curveball, but you've actually prepared that during your study as you made your own questions. And third, it acts as a great active recall tool when you review. As you study for your next exam, you could go over your own questions and actively recall the information as you answer them. Although this video covered 4 note-taking secrets that the top 1% of students use, you won't be able to write good notes like this without understanding the information from the textbook. So to figure out how to absorb textbooks like a sponge, watch this video next.